My name is Linda Katherine Smith Jones. When I discovered that my then 3-year-old daughter is dyslexic, my passion for developing the best reading program was ignited. I wanted to write the very best program for phonemic awareness and phonics for all children, with or without learning differences. I hope you've had a chance to view that video explaining the origin of silent L-phoneme. Your children will quickly excel in their reading, writing, and spelling, gaining confidence every day. I hope you've had a chance to view that video that thoroughly explains silent L-phoneme's program content and design. The advancement my kiddos make while learning with silent L-phoneme are simply amazing. The vast majority of the children I teach have learning differences. They have lots of struggles. I'd like to quickly share again a few outstanding data points that we talked about. And I want to really emphasize again that my data is collected from all of my students, no matter what their learning differences. And I only tutor them like an hour and a half to 2 hours a week. So that's what my data is based on. So just think, if you use my program 4 days a week or 5 days a week, your results would even be better. Part 1, phonemic awareness. Children master that on average in just 4 months. So that means they had a total understandings of the basics of written language and were ready to fly. And one of the questions coming up later is about dyslexia. And people with dyslexia, they have to have the phonemic awareness. Everyone does, but the phonemic awareness is so important for people with dyslexia. So in 4 months, you can change their lives. Also, children advanced 1 full grade level in just 2¼ months, like 9 weeks. They went up a whole grade level compared to going up a grade level in a whole school year. It's amazing. Silent L-phoneme is awesome. And next, children advance to their age-appropriate level with their peers in as little as 4 months. Some even, even as little as 2½ months, but on average, 4 months. And they were at the reading level of their peers. Children advance 4¼ grade levels with 6 months of instruction. So only teaching them about 2/3 of a school year, they went up 4¼ grade levels. So again, just think, if you could teach your children every day using silent L-phoneme, you would have even better results than my data, because it's based on an hour and a half to 2 hours a week. Now, let's get to your questions. A parent asked me, how would I know if my child is dyslexic? So I'm going to give you some information about that. However, my part 2 of my book includes many, many, many pages on dyslexia and how you would know, but I'm going to give you a short synopsis of that right now. So dyslexia is an unexpected difficulty in reading. And what I mean by that is, you as a parent or teachers, they look at a child and they think, this child should have no problems learning to read. They're very, very intelligent. They're very, very motivated and wanting to learn to read. They really want to work hard. They're really smart. And we've exposed them to, all kinds of educational opportunities. Maybe they've gone to preschool, maybe they've gone to kindergarten, or you've been homeschooling them since they were just, 1 and 2 years old. You've been providing those educational opportunities. And then they get into the part of your teaching where there's print, and all of a sudden you have all these difficulties. And this is what I mean by an unexpected difficulty in reading. There's an intelligent person that really, really wants to learn to read and has had lots of opportunities and is still struggling. So the reason they're struggling, especially once you hit print, is that dyslexia is a phonological weakness. There's part of the brain in the back part of the left here which impairs one's phonological, which means their auditory processing of sounds in their brain. It's challenging for dyslexics to process the tiniest particle of language that makes up words. And that tiniest particle of language is called phonemes. Phonemes are the individual single sounds that are within words. It's extremely difficult for dyslexics to be aware of the sound structure of words, and they cannot hear the individual sounds, they cannot understand or hear the rhyme, and they cannot understand the syllables. It is not uncommon for people to have learning differences. There's all kinds of learning differences, as I talked about yesterday with my data. I have children with Down syndrome, I have children with ADHD, I have dyspraxia, I have all kinds of learning differences. Everyone's brain is different. But dyslexics truly learn language in a different way than most people do. Dyslexia is very common. It affects about 20% of our population. About 50% are girls, 50% are boys. And it varies in intensities. So some people have dyslexia very mildly. Some have it sort of moderately. Some have it severe, and some have profound dyslexia. Researchers have discovered that there are several inherited genes that play a part in causing dyslexia. So, and they're thinking they're going to find even more genes. So if you or a spouse has dyslexia, you know, the child's mom or dad has dyslexia, there are chances, it doesn't mean for sure that a child will have dyslexia, but there's a greater chance, I guess, that you may possibly have a child with dyslexia. So the genes that are passed down to children that possibly can cause dyslexia are abnormal phonological processing, not processing the sounds correctly, abnormal auditory processing, abnormal auditory sequencing, like putting the sounds in order, abnormal visual processing. That's why some people with dyslexia, not all, have where they flip letters upside down or reverse them, but not everyone, and abnormal visual sequencing, where they may not see the letters in the exact same order as they are in the word. So when we're talking, we talk pretty quickly, and that's very difficult for people with dyslexia to process that, and then to process the print with the corresponding letters and the letter combinations to read fluently and to spell accurately is very challenging for them. Dyslexics have average to above average intelligence. They have no cognitive or intellectual impairment. So now to summarize, if you ask me, how would I know if my child is dyslexic? First of all, dyslexic is an unexpected difficulty in learning to read. Dyslexia is a phonological weakness which impairs one's ability to hear the individual sounds within words. It is challenging for dyslexics to process those little tiny sounds, and it takes them more time because they eventually do learn to process, but they use different parts of the brain, and so they're sending messages all over the place, and that's why they lose that fluency. Even if you don't suspect dyslexia, phonemic awareness is truly the foundation of reading for all learners. The second question I received, how can I use silent elephony and meet the needs of all of my children? So I was glad I was asked this question because I actually am in very, very close contact with a wonderful homeschooling educator teaching her 3 delightful children at home using silent elephony. So her name is Wendy, and we visit often. Sometimes she has questions for me, and I love when people that are using my program call with questions. I love being able to share my own personal teaching strategies, and I love to hear their ideas too, and I love to hear what they've tried. And so I love to have those conversations. So Wendy and I have kind of come together with these ideas right now of how to teach 3 different children. Present a new phonics rule with all your children participating in the fun, multi-sensory, whole body introductory activities. Every single lesson for phonics and phonemic awareness has these fun activities. And if you start the lesson, all of you together, and have fun together, you'll be doing things maybe with clay or reading a story or doing things with food like making blended drinks. You'll be doing all kinds of things together as a family. And then once you've introduced the phonics rule, then you can individualize your teaching. So like Wendy has a very young son, so she could give him the papers, the worksheet papers and activities that are provided in my book that are what are called level 1 activities and papers. And he could work on those. And then I also have level 2 activities and papers which develop the vocabulary and independence for children that are a little higher reading level than just beginning with that phonics skill. And then you can provide those activities for the child that's kind of in the middle, okay? And then you can provide level 3 papers and activities to a child that's higher, more advanced, independent reader. And those papers have multisyllabic words, much more difficult comprehension activities. You can provide activities for each one of your children after you've had a great time introducing the lesson altogether. As your child's progress is always being continually assessed by you, you can meet his or her individual needs. You will notice if you need to reteach a lesson for someone or give someone a little extra practice before you move on to something new, or you'll notice if somebody just got it right away and you can move on to something new. You'll be able to do that, and all those assessments and things are provided in my program. You'll have a great time. I also want to just say again, my editor, whose name is Nina Henson, she is a retired teacher also. She's my colleague. We taught for many years together, and she edited my book with me. She knows this program inside out in her sleep. We are both available to answer your questions at any time and give suggestions to you. When you purchase our program, we want to be there to help, because it is truly our desire to help you to become an exceptional teacher. We love visiting with people. We have a great time talking with them, sharing ideas, hearing success stories about how their children are doing so beautifully with silent L and E. You can reach us through emails and texts and phone calls. We'd love to visit. Okay, the third question I was asked is, what do you mean by using colors to teach reading? So Silent Elephant E teaches entirely. The whole program is multisensory and whole body instruction. Students are always actively learning all the time. I try to keep my talking to a minimum, and they are actively involved learning all the time. So every lesson, like I've said it before, is introduced with a fun, exciting, memorable, it's important that they remember what they're learning experience. We use stories, puppets like Silent Elephant, magic games, and all kinds of personal drawings and writings and food. Food's a wonderful motivator. So every lesson begins that way. And then following the participation in this initial activity, children will complete the provided worksheets. And those worksheets in my program are called partner practice pages, so that your child can have a partner. It might be a sibling or another friend that you're co-teaching with, or you can be their partner. They are always going to have colored pencils in their hands. And so all the colors they use have a particular job in phonics. And so we begin with the red being used. The red pencil is used for vowels, because red to our brain is danger, and those vowels are dangerous. And then we move to consonant digraphs, and we use orange. And that's, again, when you're teaching consonant digraphs, you will love this book, My Awesome Grandma. And we also talk about how root words grow in the rich soil, and as they grow, they can sprout new leaves, and that's the prefixes and suffixes. So we use brown for root words, green for prefixes and suffixes, red for vowels, orange for consonant digraphs. Then we move on to blue for consonant blends. And then we actually use yellow for single consonants. Like we might have double consonants at the end of a word. Say the word ball has 2 L's at the end. And then we use purple to divide words into syllables. So the purple is a little slash line that we put between syllables. And we also use this we put a black rectangle box around word families to show this little bug up here. So my whole program is based on color. Every single letter or letter combination in my program has a color. And so as your children are repetitively using these colors to designate the vowels, the digraphs, the blends, the prefixes, the suffixes, the root words, and the syllables, then it's like they're putting puzzle pieces together. So like this puzzle piece is blends, this puzzle piece is digraphs, this puzzle piece is consonants, this is vowels. And they're putting them together and they're forming words. Also, those colors help to aid in their making sense of those abstract phonics rules that are so abstract and hard to understand. The colors pull those ideas together in their brain. One of my kids I tutor said, Mrs. Jones, when I use colors, it's like the blend, the BL, it's like it has a stretchy rubber band to the color blue. And when it just kind of pops into my head, it's a great way he explained it to me. Children will stay focused on their papers because they constantly have these colored pencils in their hands and they're constantly using them. There's great kinesthetic activity. And because of that, especially my children that are ADD or ADHD, they are just busy working all the time. They're engaged. The colors are just awesome. So, and their reading, writing, and spelling fluency will increase dramatically in a very short amount of time because they're just always engaged and learning with their whole body. Silent Elephant E is the only program that I know of anyway that teaches phonemic awareness and phonics using colors in this way. I truly believe it's what makes my program the best on the market, and it will guide your children to immediate success. The last question I was asked was, how do I purchase Silent Elephant E? Well, this is an easy one to answer. You can visit my store on my website. My website is silentelephante.com. Go to the store. You can save money by purchasing the entire program at once, but you also can purchase it in sections if you'd like to do that. Besides my books and my posters, I have the videos, teaching videos, and also I have a 9-hour online personal training opportunity for homeschool educators. It is $1,000, and I know that sounds like a lot, but you can get all your friends together and share the cost. So if you can get 20 people together, you would each only pay $50, and I would love to teach you and all your friends for 9 hours, walk you through this whole program, and when you finished it, you would feel so confident in teaching. So if you are wondering if Silent Elephant E is the comprehensive reading, writing, and spelling program that fits your needs, the only program that you would ever need to purchase to do that, please feel free to contact me. You can email me at silentelephante@gmail.com. So my email is silentelephante@gmail.com. If you would like to visit over the phone, please just tell me that in your email, as I would love to visit with you. I will call you whenever I'm not tutoring. Please visit my website, silentelephante.com, and I hope you enjoy reading the many testimonials on my website while you're there. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.